365 Sports.
The Kansas City Chiefs are packing up and moving out of Arrowhead. We talk about the new details of a stadium being built for 2031, not in Arrowhead, not in Missouri, but in Kansas. We'll mention all of the details behind that, plus the QB signing of Shane Buechele, as the Chiefs cannot catch a break on their QBs. Luckily, Gardner Minshew has some updates and some good ones on him. However, still needing an extra QB, the Chiefs have made a signing. And then finally, we have the injury report for Monday, as the Chiefs right back in action on Thursday for Christmas, as they'll take on the Denver Broncos in the nightcap of the Christmas games and what will hopefully be a spoiler game for the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome into the Chiefs Report, a part of 365 Sports. I'm Jace Andrews. We hope you're having a great day, whether you're listening to us on Apple Music or Spotify. We thank you for that, and give us a follow. Or if you're listening or watching on YouTube, we appreciate you there as well. And make sure you hit that subscribe button to be in tune and in line with all of the latest Kansas City Chiefs details. Let's get right into today's show, talking about the Kansas City Chiefs not being in Missouri anymore. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I had kind of mentioned it in a prior video, or in a prior podcast, I should say, but that the Chiefs were in line to potentially be moved to Kansas with a decision to be made today. The decision was made amongst Kansas lawmakers to provide a 70% basically money acquisition for a new stadium for the Chiefs in Kansas. And today it was officially approved to go through. Now, here is the official details behind it, as the Chiefs have announced a move from Arrowhead Stadium in Missouri to a new $3 billion domed stadium in Kansas. So lots of things to say. However, there's much to go in. We're going to talk about Mr. Hunt first and what he said, saying, quote, "Today, we are excited to take another momentous step for the future of the franchise. We have entered into an agreement with the state of Kansas to host Chiefs football beginning with the 2031 season. In the years ahead, we look forward to designing and building a state-of-the-art domed stadium and mixed-use district." I honestly cannot tell you how to say that county. I apologize. "And a best-in-class training facility, team headquarters, and mixed-use district in Olathe, totaling a minimum of $4 billion of development in the state of Kansas." The Chiefs' lease at Arrowhead Stadium, if you don't know, is expiring here in 2030. They've played there since 1972, and finally they are going to move. Now, why is this happening? Well, I could sit here and tell you the entire legal jargon, the legal action behind everything, the funds both from the states of Kansas and Missouri, and why the funds in Missouri were also there, but the simple thing to tell you is this: Kansas wants the Chiefs. They've wanted the Chiefs in their state, and they have been saying that for the past probably decade, if not longer. Meanwhile, Missouri has refused to help with any of the Chiefs' projects or try and pass any state bonds or state legislative actions that would, in theory, fund improvements to Arrowhead / a new stadium, in which we know Mr. Hunt has said multiple times that he wants a new stadium for the Chiefs. Arrowhead is fantastic. It's a piece of history in Chiefs football. But at the end of the day, modern technology, modern arts, modern stadiums are the new thing. And with how cold it can get in KC in the wintertime, especially during those nice playoff games that we all get to go to, it's not exactly the most ideal thing when you have Arrowhead right in that wind tunnel that is, and then kind of on a weird spot in the state of Missouri in its own right. This probably also means, for people that care, the Kansas City Royals will no longer be held in Kauffman Stadium. They will probably be moving to, I don't know if they'll go to Kansas, but I have to say that they will probably not be staying in Kauffman Stadium, but that is still to be decided. I'm not going to put any words in anybody's mouth. So many things to talk about here in terms of what this means for the Chiefs football, what this means for really a host of different things. So here is kind of a big thing. The Chiefs said Monday that Kansas's proposal to use star bonds from the state would cover 60% of the project. Remember that 70% number I gave you earlier? That was the maximum amount they were trying to process in Kansas. Ultimately, that did not get processed, but 60% did get processed. Missouri, meanwhile, approved a plan during the summer of 2025 that would pay for up to half the cost of new stadiums for both the Chiefs and the Royals. The Royals, who are embarking on a stadium location search of their own, were not included in today's announcement. Again, this does not mean that they are not going to move, but they are not included in this announcement for anybody who has that care. But the point and the numbers behind it are this. Missouri in 2025 said, hey, we'll give you up to half of the cost of a new stadium. That's what we're going to do for you. We'll get you all you need to do, and we'll approve that. Kansas said, we can get 70% for you. We're going to try and get that. And they tried to get 70, and ultimately they couldn't hit that figure, but they did get the 60%. And so Kansas City, as the Chiefs organization, as Mr. Hunt so well put, Kansas wants us. Kansas is willing to pay for 60% of this stadium. Kansas is making all of these adjustments to where they're probably going to move in the Kansas City Speedway area, and alongside with Kansas City soccer club. There's so much good in the move to Kansas that it just makes sense for the Chiefs to do so. Now, the recently costed renovations for Arrowhead Stadium were $20 million back for the 2026 World Cup. They say that the stadium now with the dome will allow for Kansas City and Kansas, of course, to host Super Bowl events like the men's Final Four. There are also a bunch of different things that you can do. NCAA has also been searching for larger indoor arenas for its marquee event as the Final Four, and it hasn't been held in Kansas City since 1988. It's very, very cool to see all of this. It is also fun to say that, there's a lot of teams that are doing this. In fact, this is a week after the Chicago Bears. They floated the idea of relocating to Northwest Indiana in search of a site for their new stadium, as the Bears have been told by Illinois legislators that the financing of their stadium is not a priority, but they're looking to find a new place, and they could go to Northwest Indiana, which is kind of crazy. But interesting things for sure on the stadium sides of stuff, but that obviously is all well and good, and ultimately at the end of the day, it's not going to happen until 2031. Nothing changes. The Chiefs are still going to be playing at Arrowhead Stadium for the next 5 years at this point, or rather 4 years, I should say. But when the 2031 season starts, there will be a new home of the Kansas City Chiefs, and it will be a domed stadium, which is very, very, very cool. So, obviously, if you have any questions on that, you can obviously look it up, but you can also tweet at me at @JaceAndrews_. I've got as much details as I can get, but I'm trying not to flood your information with that, because I don't know. I just don't think that it's not that big of a deal to talk about the money. The big deal is that they're moving. The big deal is they're going there, and that's going to be a big thing. It's a dome stadium. That's cool. That's awesome. But again, you want information, you can always look it up. You can always also tag me on Twitter at @JaceAndrews_. And I've got most of the information down. But I have some more information to kind of get to you here on the Chiefs and roster movements here today. So let's go into that and talk about the Chiefs and them signing a quarterback, as we got some good news first here, but it does lead in the Chiefs signing quarterback. Gardner Minshew, who had believed to have torn his ACL in the Tennessee Titans game, avoided that. He will, however, be placed on injured reserve with a non-displaced tibia plateau fracture in Sunday's loss. This is all from Ian Rappaport. No surgery is going to be needed for what is essentially a very bad bone bruise, Rappaport said, and the team officially placed him on IR. Minshew originally was feared to have torn his ACL, and obviously we know Chris Olajuwon came in. Some updates on some injury. We'll go more in details on these in just a moment, but just to put you in the know, Rashee Rice did not practice today due to a concussion. Tyquan Thornton did not practice today due to his concussion. Noah Gray was a full participant with a shoulder injury. Jalen Moore had a limited participation at practice today with that knee injury. Full participation for both Esa Pohl and Trey Smith. However, they were both listed on the injury report, and then non-participants for Trip McDuffie and Jalen Watson with a groin and a knee injury for those two respectively. Top two quarterbacks, in my opinion, in a lot of different duo combinations. Both guys very good, and non-participants today. We'll talk more about that in just a minute, but want to focus on the signing that the Kansas City Chiefs made of Shane Buechele. Now, Shane Buechele is the guy who has had some familiarity with the Kansas City Chiefs. He was on this Chiefs squad back in 2023 and has made multiple practice squad stints since that time. He played a lot of the preseason back in 2023, and he was on the Bills practice squad. But now with Gardner Minshew out, they have only a couple options, with Chris Oladokun being the main one. But however, you really would like to have somebody maybe a little better with that, because Oladokun's been on the roster for 3-4 years now and just has always been the third option. Shane Buechele actually had the roster spot above Chris Oladokun in 2023. I am kind of excited to see what exactly we can get from Buechele. He is 27. He did begin with the Chiefs when he signed with them as a UDFA out of SMU following the 2021 NFL draft. He was 2 seasons with the Chiefs in 2021 through 2022. He was on the practice squad. They waived him in 2023 with the 53-man roster cut down, and he signed with Buffalo's practice squad and has been there ever since. But want to talk about what I have called him in the past as Sugar Shane. Not a nickname, but I just loved that nickname in my mind, and he was playing like it in the 2023 preseason. And I'm kind of intrigued by the decision to cut him. I know that was a while back, and it's not something to really bring up now, but I was shocked when they cut him just because Chris Oladokun was the pick. And so that puts the question today of, will Shane Buechele actually be a guy that the Chiefs want to play? Will that be a guy they actually want to put on their roster ahead of Oladokun? Obviously, he's on the 53-man roster now, but I'm curious to see who ends up playing on Thursday night against the Denver Broncos. Buechele has not recorded a pass in the NFL in a regular season game. I've talked about his preseason stats. It's very good, but it doesn't really give you a true mindset as to what he is. He played with Texas to start his collegiate career back in 2016, in which he threw for just under 3,000 yards with 21 touchdowns, but 11 interceptions on top of it. He then played a little bit less in 2017, having 1,400 yards, and lost his job completely in 2018. I believe that was Sam Ehlinger who took it over in 2018 in Texas. Any of my UT graduates, I'm sure there's a couple out there. Charles Omeni, who obviously guy from UT the Chiefs have, but I believe it was Ehlinger who took over for him in 2018/2017. And then in 2019, SMU called him up. He played there and passed for nearly 4,000 yards that season, 3,929 to be exact, averaging 8 yards per pass. 34 touchdowns to still 10 interceptions. The interceptions were a problem with him throughout his entire collegiate career. And then in 2020, the quote-unquote shortened season, 242 on the completions, had 3,095 yards with a completion percentage of 65.4, 23 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Doing the math there, he'd probably be close to about that 34-10 if it were a full season. Obviously, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, there was shortened, there was less games, and a lot of them were less taken. But his QB rating that year was really, really good, 152.9, very highly rated there. And, of course, UDFA signed with the Kansas City Chiefs. Not a big runner, has had just 468 yards in his collegiate career, and I'm intrigued to see if they maybe dual quarterback on Thursday night with Oladokun, who's a better runner, a better guy in the pocket, a better guy who can, or not in the pocket, a guy who can scramble out of the pocket, I should say. Buechele is more of a pocket passer. He's mobile. I'm not saying he's not, but not the same as Chris Oladokun. I like Buechele. He's 27 years old, SMU guy, got familiarity with the organization, obviously being here for nearly 3 years. I think that when it comes down to it, he might be the one who starts on Thursday night. I don't want to say that now just because he just signed and the game's on Thursday, but do not be shocked if you see him in at least some form or facet on Thursday evening. We'll kind of let you know the updates with what exactly that goes on. And if it is a starter announced situation, although at this point, I don't know if it really matters, but I would like to see if the Chiefs could potentially maybe go out there and take down the Denver Broncos, who just come off a loss against the Jacksonville Jaguars. It'd be very nice for the Chiefs to play spoiler here, take out the Broncos for a second straight week after their 11-game win streak. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get to the injury report. We're going to talk about the latest details for the Chiefs' upcoming game versus the Denver Broncos and all you need to know on the injury side of things. We'll be right back here on the Chiefs Report.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internext.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Elevate your experience with Grenco Science, the leaders in cutting-edge vaporizers. Whether you're at home or on the go, our sleek, powerful devices deliver smooth, consistent hits every time. Quality you can trust, innovation you can feel. Grenco Science, take your vapor game to the next level. Visit us at GrencoScience.com. At Terrapin Ridge Farms, they believe in the joy of effortless entertaining. Inspired by CEO Mary O'Donnell's mom and her legendary holiday parties, they've crafted a line of gourmet foods that turn any meal into a celebration. From savory jams to mustards, aiolis, and more, their products are made with love, bringing unforgettable flavors to your table. Whether it's a casual get-together or a special occasion, they make it easy to impress. Terrapin Ridge Farms, where great food and great memories come together. Visit them at terrapinridge.com. Terrapin Ridge.
Do you ever have a story that you just can't get out of your head?
One that you play the details of over and over with your friends?
Well, you've come to the right place. I'm Claire.
And I'm Susan.
And this is Justice Pending,
a weekly true crime podcast where we discuss tantalizing crimes with more questions than answers.
Thanks for joining us.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at GlobalHealing.com and OrganicHemp.com.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
It all began with a simple idea, cutting handles off old ski sticks to create better pull-up bars. This sparked the creation of the revolutionary Angles 90 handles. After testing over 70 prototypes with 300 athletes, our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Angles90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com.
Welcome back here to the Chiefs Report on 365 Sports. I'm Jace Andrews. We've been talking a little bit about the Chiefs and them moving to Kansas with a new build. They've also signed quarterback Shane Buechele. But the biggest news for today is probably the injury report that stems before Week 17 against the Denver Broncos on Christmas. I want to know your thoughts in the comment section of this video. How do you feel about the Chiefs playing on Christmas and on Thanksgiving this year? They've been a staple for the past couple of years playing on holidays, and they do so again this year. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Is this something you like? Is it something you don't like? I'm kind of curious for your opinion on it. I personally like it. I like to watch the Chiefs. I think it's fun to watch on a holiday. However, it does kind of stink when they just constantly play on it, because then I mean, this year it doesn't matter, but I've been stressed on Christmas. The 2023 Vegas game was a real Christmas killer. Didn't exactly make the day more fun, I'll say that. So that's exactly something to look at. But either way, I am very excited for this game, and we have some injury reports to talk about. So I'm going to go pretty quickly through these and kind of discuss some guys as we go back through it. But in terms of the non-participants at practice today, it was Trip McDuffie and Jalen Watson, as I mentioned, top-tier cornerbacks, and they look like they are, in injury position. Groin for Jalen Watson, knee for Trip McDuffie. Non-participant today. We'll see how it goes Tuesday and Wednesday, and we'll get their game statuses then. As for the rest of the Kansas City Chiefs, they have limited participation for both Jalen Moore, the tackle, and Derek Nottie, who had an illness. He's a defensive tackle. Illnesses can either be good or bad. It kind of depends what type of illness he has. If it's a stomach bug, he could be back tomorrow. If it's something more serious like migraines or something like that, the potential if he can miss this game, we'll see kind of how that goes. Defensive tackles already, or defensive line's already been something that's been kind of ripped apart this year. So we'll see. Jake Brennan-Stool, he is a full participant today, but does have an injury designation as a hamstring. And the same can be said for the rest of these names. Mike Edwards, a safety, shoulder on the injury report, full participant at practice. Christian Fulton, cornerback, knee and wrist injury, full participant though. Noah Gray, a tight end. He's got a shoulder injury designation. Nazeet Johnson, another cornerback, shoulder, full participation. Esapo, a tackle who's come on, signed off the practice squad. Been on the 53-man roster for the past couple of weeks. He's a part of the tackle base that has been ravaged on that offensive line, trying to get back to a decently healthy spot. He is on the injury report, but he is a full participant. And then lastly, Nico Remigio, the wide receiver. He's got a knee injury, full participant today. Trey Smith, a guard. He's got an ankle injury, but was a full participant today. So those are your injuries for the Kansas City Chiefs. The most concerning one to me is definitely Trent McDuffie, and that's for a couple of different reasons. The first one is that he is your top tier cornerback, and you're going to be going up against a relatively good Denver Broncos offense. And Cortland Sutton is a fantastic receiver. If you watched much of the Jacksonville Jaguars versus Denver Broncos game, you saw the amazing catches he did make. And in a lot of ways, it's something to be wary of and understand that, it's a team that lost. It's a team that's very good, though, and they'll be wearing all white. They're going to be in a very interesting spot. But in terms of the Denver Broncos, do want to listen to their injury report real quick here, too. They had non-participations from their center, Luke Wattenberg. He has a backup, though, so in there. Their linebacker, Jay Greenlaw, he was a non-participant with a hamstring injury. He's been a big piece of their defense. Would be intriguing to see about that injury as it plays out the rest of the week. Pat Bryant, wide receiver for them. He was the guy, if you watch the Jaguars versus Broncos game, that got a hospital pass from Bo Nix when they were trailing by 2 touchdowns with less than a minute left, and he's got a concussion. I would highly doubt he plays this week, just the way that looked on the field. And the tight end, Nate Adkins, one of their tight ends, not the main one, Evan Ingram. Adkins, he has a knee injury, was a non-participant today. The rest of the guys that were on the injury report were all full participants. However, cornerback Riley Moss, big part of their defense as well. He was on there with an ankle injury. Ben Powers, a guard with a bicep injury. Kern Reed, a hamstring injury, an inside linebacker, and Justin Strand, a foot injury with the inside linebacker as well. So some intriguing names on their injury report. And obviously, I found some kind of wild things with the Chiefs, and knowing that Watson and McDuffie are on those reports, and not only not on the reports, but a non-participant on those reports, are not exactly something I want to see. One last thing I want to go to. This is a little bit of late news, but I felt like it's important to get to since it happened over the weekend and we weren't able to cover it here on the Chiefs report. But some interesting things. First of all, they signed practice squad players, tackle Chudwick, Chudabuka Godric. I'll get that name right eventually. Quarterback Chris Oladukin and running back Damon Pierce to the active roster, which thank goodness they did for Chris Oladukin. They also activated practice squad players Cole Christensen, tackle Matt Wazeko, standard elevation. Again, this was all for this game, but the real one that is intriguing to me is they waived running back Elijah Mitchell. Now, if you don't know the story behind Mitchell, he was signed, supposed to be a help and a big help in this Chiefs running game, and he was nowhere near that. Nothing of the sort, did not look good out there, and to the point where the Chiefs actively stopped playing him, and kind of like Christian Fulton, who is still on the roster, we're just thrown in the corner. And finally, the Chiefs said, we're done with this. We're cutting you. We got to get other people. Like, there's no point to keep you on the roster. It was a good move for them. I like that they did that. Also, bad news to just relay to you, linebacker Leo Chenal and Jawan Taylor are both placed on injured reserve this weekend as well, so they effectively are done for the season, getting placed on IR with just less than 4 games to go. You have to be on there for 4 games, so ultimately they are done. Obviously, though, big game this Thursday. Big game on Christmas, the primetime one. If the Chiefs can shock the world and come out there and prove the Broncos are a fraud, I would love nothing less. But at the same time, I'm preparing for a not fun watch. But who knows what happens. Shane Buechele would be a fun quarterback to watch at least. Crystal Dugan is fun to watch sometimes. We'll see what happens. We'll obviously get the latest injury reports as well over the next couple days. For now, though, we do appreciate you watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day, whether you're listening or watching. And we'll see you next time here on the Chiefs Report. For now, though, guys, we're going to say peace out.
365 Sports.